Is Tony going to be here?
And that's the question of the evening as we start Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Welcome to tonight's show. And let me ask my panel tonight, what did Aquaman find in the center of the ocean?
That
The
trench?
letter E. Welcome to the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. It's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Happy Father's Day. Apologies for not getting the opportunity to see my beautiful face tonight to celebrate Father's Day, as my microphone and StreamYard are not playing, excuse me, as my camera and StreamYard are not playing well this evening. So apologies for that, but look at who you get tonight for the Father's Day edition of Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. It's Comic Fu 2814. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. And our special guest tonight, you used to know him as Jaguar Chiaquoto, but now you know him as Black Swamp Comics. It's Leo. Jag, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for inviting me onto the show. I appreciate it.
Well,
and
good.
I feel like you always get the Chiaquato. Perfect. That's awesome.
I have practiced and practiced that. When I first got to know you, I thought it was Xcodal, taking a little Starfire there. And then I thought it was Chicatal. So I went with that for a while. But now that I've mastered it, you changed your name. So there is a little bit of rebranding going on your channel. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to make that decision and what your channel is going to be more focused on now.
So yes, a lot of it was just with me. My channel was just my gaming name. Jaguar Chiaquato is just unfocused and just doing whatever I wanted to do. But I feel like now I really want to focus in on like some of the stuff I really like the horror stuff. I feel like I'm pretty much gotten to a place with my collection where I'm just kind of happy with it, and I kind of just want to explore more of the Black Label stuff. So that's why I decided to do it. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to.
So when you say Black Label, you're talking DC?
Yes,
Black Label.
I'm still going to stick with like most of the DC stuff because that's like what I really like. I mean, I like the Marvel stuff. I just know that that's another black hole I don't want to open yet. So
right.
So I feel like there's so much left in DC yet.
Awesome.
Cool.
So for those that have already been subscribed to you, they're still subscribed to you under your new account because it's just a rebranding. It's not a whole new account. But those that are not subscribed to you, there is a link in the description for this video so they can sub you up and get to know you and get to know your rebranded channel a little bit better. But I'm really excited to have you on tonight, and I'll talk in a little bit when we get into the retro review section why I thought that you would be perfect for tonight's retro review. But first, I do want to acknowledge everyone that is joining us in the chat as well. We have Unruly Simeon.
How's it going?
Yeah, good to see you here. We have Comic Fu 2814.
What's up, bro?
Yes. We have Tim the Comic Collector. Now, Tim will be taking a little bit of a sabbatical from Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. He's got some things going on, but we look forward to having him back on the show on a regular basis in the near future. Hope everything goes awesome for him in the meantime. Hope he's having a great Father's Day, and Tim's birthday is coming up in a few days. So I'll take this opportunity to wish him an early happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Flashpoint Comics, who will be interested in something we're going to talk about in the news section coming up. We have Stephen M. We have Jedi Farce wondering the same thing. Where is Lasso? I have no idea.
He's late. Doesn't show up on camera.
Ben Compton is here. That's awesome. Stephen M. I'll answer really quickly before we get started. Because I think, did either one of you read Trial of the Amazons?
I did not.
Okay. I thought that the premise was good for it, but the execution wasn't so hot. I didn't like the character that they chose to kill. I didn't like the fact that they revealed because it was supposed to kind of be who was the killer. and they revealed who the killer was in the upcoming solicitations before that was ever announced. That was a big error. So the execution of it wasn't as good. Parts of the story were good, but it kind of left me feeling flat. So, and then we have Tim wondering how I knew it was his birthday coming up. We just know things. Thank you if you're joining us in the rewind watching tonight too, because we have a good story to talk about. So as we segue into the news section, let's start with news about a different Tim. Tim Sale, comic book artist, passed away at the age of 66 this week.
Yes, the Batman, The Long Halloween.
Yeah, and Superman for All Seasons. So he was known, especially for those two titles. He passed away from kidney failure earlier this week, so that was sad to hear.
Yeah, he was 66.
Yeah, very
So
young.
Very
That's young. Yep.
Yeah. And then segueing over into what's kind of going on news-wise, is DC Extended Universe, the movies, it sounds like they're done with Ezra Miller as Flash after this next movie. At least according to the latest statement. Ezra, they've gotten themselves into some trouble again, similar to the trouble that was last reported on. And it sounds like, if you can take the article, for what it's worth, that, here they're having a problem with a movie that's not even coming out for another year yet, because its main star is having issues. But the article that came out this weekend pretty much says that DC says after this Flash movie, they are done with their association with Ezra Miller on projects. Thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Guy?
Well, and I don't want to get into the details of some of the accusations because of the nature of them, but they after all that's happened already, and now with these new accusations, like they have to dump him. They can't have anything to do with him at this point, because who's going to want to take their kids to go see a movie with him in it after all of this?
And if you're Warner Brothers, how do you promote a project that's supposed to be a summer blockbuster when the main star of the movie you can't put on TV? You can't put him on media. You can't do media.
Yeah, I think it was somebody in the chat was saying, maybe it was you, Lasso, that they need like morals clauses with these actors. And I agree. He should not receive a dime from that movie based on what he's done, because he's tanked the movie before it's even come out, to the point where they've already had to fire him. And, this is a franchise that's supposed to have multiple movies, right? So he's really kind of done the studio in on that one. And now it's too late for them.
Yeah, and that also affects other people that are in that movie that could spring launch them getting a different movie.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Tim. Like, where's the background checks?
Hello to Copy 801 who's joined us tonight. So as we talk about that, I'm really glad that Leo's here, because another news story that's kind of come out is now they're saying it looks like Amber Heard will be recast during reshoots for the Aquaman movie. And Leo, I know that you're an Aquaman fan. What has been your hot take or your opinion on the Amber Heard Mara situation for Aquaman 2?
All right, so just for the record, I'll say
it's been keeping you up at nights, hasn't it?
Amber Heard was an okay casting. I've always thought that she was an okay casting for Mara. I felt like she didn't catch that the fiery, the charge attitude that Mara has in the books. I felt like Mara in the books is more like Khaleesi, so I felt like it would have been more, perfect if they would have used Emilia Clarke. When I saw the Emilia Clarke rumors going around, I was like, man, yes, because she has that kind of take charge attitude, but she also has great chemistry with Jason Momoa. But yeah, man, get rid of her, man. Like, I feel like she's dragging this out. It's painful. The whole trial thing was painful to watch. It was kind of embarrassing. I was like, come on, let's just move on. And the fact is, now that, she's kind of ruined it, because when she's got this such bad reputation now and this bad cloud around her, that now I'm like, I love watching Aquaman. And last time I was watching it, I just couldn't help but like think about her like pooping on Aquaman's bed and just like watching the turd float away. You know what I mean? Like she's ruined it. You know what I mean? Like it's, and I feel like it's for the best. You just let her go, and just bring in some other characters, recast her. And the same thing with Ezra Miller, since they have this whole Flashpoint thing coming up. I think that's a perfect opportunity for them to clean house. You know, because you can just recast them, and if anybody has any questions, like, oh, you know, it's just you know, a blip in the Flashpoint thing. You know, when he set the timeline, apparently they didn't look the same. You know, that I feel like that's a great way to cop out and try to fix everything, reset the universe. I'm all aboard with them getting rid of her. So it just sucks that I think that they might just get rid of the Mira role completely, which that would suck actually, because Mira is actually a big character for Aquaman. So I'm in favor of them just recasting instead of them trying to bring in I don't know who else they bring. Dolphin would be awesome, or they bring in like Aqua Girl or whatever. But it just wouldn't be the same without the Mira character. I think she's like a cornerstone of the Aquaman mythos. At times, it was felt like in the books, it's like he's a supporting character, and he has these very strong supporting characters that kind of can take the lead. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think originally that they had said that they were just going to write Mara out, say she died in childbirth, and now that has switched to recast her during reshoots, which I think, as you say, is a better option. Mara is very heavily associated with the Aquaman character. That would be a shame not to have Mara. And let's face it, she hasn't done as much in the movie franchises that she can't be replaced.
Well, let's face it too. Neither of these two characters, Flash or Mara, and the actors that portrayed them, I mean, we're not talking like Henry Cavill caliber, right? I mean, like, yeah, if you got to replace Henry Cavill as Superman, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, did anybody know who Ezra Miller was before all of this nonsense? I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, and again, Amber, I mean, Mara, you can replace her easily.
Yeah. A few other news points that I want to get to before we head into the retro review. How would you guys feel if you could buy Action Comics #1 for $6.99?
Where?
Like I just got ripped off somehow? I scammed? I don't know.
Well, that's going to happen for us DC Comics fans, because Action Comics facsimile of issue #1 has just been announced in the upcoming solicitations. It drops on September 20th for $6.99. This follows a previously announced Detective 27 facsimile, which is dropping on August 23rd for the same price point. So DC's kind of gotten out of the facsimile line for a little bit, but now it appears that they're starting to relook at those. So I myself will probably be picking up both of them.
So
very cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also,
and of course, it makes you wonder, since they've. Go ahead.
No, finish up. That's fine.
I was going to say, since they're doing a facsimile of the first appearance of Superman, first appearance of Batman, what about the first appearance of Wonder Woman, which is only an 8-page insert in All-Star Comics #8? Or would they do Wonder Woman #1 or Sensation Comics #1? Well, Wonder Woman's first appearance just broke a record this week. It became the 7th highest selling comic book of all time in Heritage Comics auction this week. A CGC 9.4 of All-Star Comics #8 sold for $1.62 million. It outsold Detective 27, and it's outsold Fantastic Four #1. 7th highest comic book ever sold, and this is the highest graded copy of it known, or highest graded copy that there is.
Wow. That's amazing.
Nice.
Yes. So she's broken the $1 million mark. Now, Fu, you've been doing some comic book auctions Friday night and Saturday. I assume it's because you bought that book as an A-OK to me, and now you have to replenish the funds.
I did, yes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's going to be a great video.
I've got it on layaway, so
Yes.
I'm making payments.
You're making payments.
That was food, the Heritage.
Yes.
So right there.
Also, did you guys happen to have any superhero cereal this morning?
No.
If you head to Target or select Kroger stores, you can get yourself Superman, Supergirl, or the Flash DC Comics cereal. They are showing up on store shelves now.
Nice.
Packaging is pretty awesome for them. I highly suggest you take a look, online later on to see because the artwork on the packaging is really good.
I expect the Superman one to be packed with protein.
Yes, and Supergirl too.
Yeah,
pretty much the Superman and the Supergirl are the same, just with the images swapped out. Yeah. So that's what I've got for news. Do you guys have anything else?
I've got a few things. Yeah.
Go ahead.
First off, I was looking through the books coming out this week. I saw World's Finest #4, Batman Superman World's Finest #4 is coming out this week, and it's got it's a Green Lantern book. So I'm excited to look for that one.
That's been a good series.
Has it? Yeah, I picked up #1. I haven't had it on my pull list, but I'm definitely gonna be looking for 4. It's a really nice cover. There's a few other things that came out in the news today. One of them was, or not today, this week. One was we heard the rumor that the Joker 2 is going to be a musical.
Oh yeah,
with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. I mean, I guess. Look,
I was like, when I heard the news, Joker 2 confirmed, I was like, yes, it's a musical. No, it's like, who asked for this? Like, do you guys ask for this?
Thank you. That's it exactly. Like, I don't mean to just get down on it without even knowing too much about it, but I'll say this: I'm not interested. Like, I've heard enough. Not interested.
But
people
I'll go
will
watch
enjoy
it.
I'm sure.
I'm gonna go watch it anyways because it's Joker. But
yeah,
and I mean, I kind of see the angle that they're trying to go. I guess the whole madness thing, and they're just kind of both lost in their own world and stuff. But but at the same time, it's like we kind of want to. I think what the fans, us, we're hoping for is we want to see a showdown between Batman and the Joker. We want to see the Joker actually in Batman's world tearing stuff up, and Batman doing his best to try to lock him down. And I think that's what everybody kind of wants to see. I don't know if they're going to include Batman in this Joker too, but it'd be really nice if they did. Or I mean, if they included Batman in the Joker world, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe they feel like by going this artsy way, it's kind of like saying it's a way for them to kind of bait Joaquin Phoenix back into it. It's like, hey, come get you another one of the Academy Award things. You know what I mean? But
I mean, as long as they keep it separate from everything else they're doing and they can find an audience for it, cool.
Yeah. And I just want to see a Joker for Pattinson, Batman. I want to see that one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and you can't really have Harley in a Joker movie without Batman. I mean, at that point you've got to have that Batman, at least a mention of him, right?
Yeah, he's got to exist within the world.
He's got to exist. Yeah, whether or not he's in the movie is something else. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're wondering why Tony Fett isn't here, it's fittings for his meat dress.
Yes, and also I hear Tony's been a little nervous lately because some other news coming in. It sounds like the solicitations for September have come in, and with Harley Quinn #22. They're doing it again. Apparently, they're going to kill Harley Quinn.
Oh boy!
So I know Tony's a little nervous about that. However, there's hope, Tony. Let's pump the brakes, because apparently, not only does Harley die, but she's murdered, and she's going to be the one to investigate her own murder. So I don't know how that works, but Harley Quinn 22 in September, you'll have to find out, I guess.
So Harley Quinn, I guess, is dead man or whatever. I feel like this already happened. I think it was like in the 2001 where she dies, she goes to hell, and then she annoys the hell out of Etrigan. and I don't know
You
if he
could
like
be
boots
right.
or something. I feel like this has already happened before.
That could be
and
fun if they do that in the movies, right? Bring Etrigan in and all. That'd be cool.
I want to see Justice League Dark. Anybody from Justice League Dark, I'm game. So,
Hello to the Simply Incredible podcast who's joined the live stream along with Wheelchair Superhero 87. Great to have you both stopping by. Anything else news-wise?
The last thing, it was probably more rumor than anything or some gossip here, but I was reading this story about the Warner Brothers Discovery, you know, the buyout and all, and it sounds like they are wanting to put the new president of Warner Brothers Film, I guess, wants to start putting more of a priority on DC, actually, the films, and wants to it sounds like everything is still on the table. So I know we've heard recently a lot of like, oh yeah, they're dedicated to Snyderverse and Henry Cavill. It sounds like they're saying, well, you know, everything's up in the air still, and actually the direction that they want to head in is they want to go back to these underused characters they have and kind of start using them the way they were meant to be used, specifically Superman, which I was actually really excited about because I think that's kind of what's been missing. We need a really strong Superman to kick off the DCEU. And I think if we had that, then it could begin to compete with the MCU. But it's got to be true to the character. It's got to be fun. It's got to be bright. And I think that could do it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Hello also to my friend Glenn Clark, who stopped by. Good to see you. And Fu, do you mind pulling up the assist for tonight's retro review?
Sure.
Leo, one of the reasons that I thought that you would be perfect for tonight's retro review, I recently saw you post that you have been really into rereading Justice Society comic books, right?
yes.
So what got you interested? I mean, have you always been a JSA fan or?
No, actually, it's just kind of me falling into black holes and falling rabbit holes and stuff. And I actually started doing a little bit of research on PowerGirl. I still haven't read her first appearances in the JSA, but then I started reading the JSA Classified by Jeff Johns, and I really loved it. And then I started reading her solo series. I ate that up. I did some of the Harley Quinn stuff and then some of the Huntress stuff. So yeah, I've been kind of going through reading on the PowerGirl, and I've really loved this character, and I feel like that's my interest. And now I'm kind of headed towards, looks like Justice League Europe next, or International.
Cool. Very cool. Well, I've also been rereading. I bought a hardcover reprint, Only Legends Live Forever, which I recently showed on my comic book editions video. And the book's out of print now, but it reprints all of the Bronze Age JSA that was in All-Star Comics. And then when that got canceled, it switched over to Adventure Comics. So it reprints all of those. And while I have all of them in floppy form, it was so great to have them all collected together in one hardcover. And this issue that we're reviewing tonight is the 3-issue run of Showcase that features PowerGirl. That's a separate little spin-off from that. And I haven't read this in years. And we'll let you get started with it, Leo. And have you ever read this?
No, for me, all this is new for me. Just exploring all this stuff for the first time.
All right, cool. I always think of this as a classic PowerGirl cover when we look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and kick it off the retro review then.
All right. So with PowerGirl, I think this is, I'm not sure how long she was in All-Star Comics from All-Star 58, her first appearance. And then I know she probably had some issues after that before she got her first solo series here on this Showcase. And this was her first tryout issue. And let's talk about the cover first. So I really love this cover of PowerGirl. It's kind of like in your face. I think it says Staton and Orlando was the ones who worked on it. But she's like busting out of this All-Star Comics in the back, and she just looks great. I think it's a great. The trade dress is it's okay, but her overall, I think it looks very dynamic and kind of, she's arrived kind of cover. So That's an excellent cover. So then we go on to the first issue the first page, and this is really awesome splash page here when she's like jumping in, she's busting in with these guys who are at this electronics store, and they're doing an armed robbery. Now you guys might know this, but I know that she referred to one of these guys as Deadshot. So is this the Deadshot from the Suicide Squad?
I don't believe so.
You don't, because he does not look like it.
No, I don't believe so. I think it's just the same name.
Okay, so this is written by Paul Levitz, Joe Staton, Joe Orlando. Letterer was Ben Odoa. Jerry Serpay on the colorist. Again, PowerGirl is created by Jerry Conway. And so she busts in. The dialogue is dated, man. You know what I mean? Like when I read this, you know, she's kind of like some of this stuff. Like I'll read some of this. Like when she first jumps in, she's like, "All right, boys, playtime's over. You've been making too much noise. I hear you halfway across town. Besides, you can hurt playing with guns." Like that's kind of corny to me. You know, like that's dated. But then again, you know, this is Bronze Age stuff or late Bronze Age. Maybe Copper Age. I don't know. However, as a character, so as a character, I love that she's talking smack because I think that's something that sets her apart from Supergirl, is that she talks crap to the people she's beating up. She's strong and she knows that she is strong. And she lets them know she's strong. So I think that's something that I like that sets her apart from Supergirl. Because again, PowerGirl is Supergirl, but from Earth 2. And then, you know, she lets them know you get some powers here, like the guy's shooting at her and you got bullets bouncing off of her. She's fast enough to go catch a bullet because, right, it's ricocheting off her body and she's fast enough to catch it. So she goes off chasing this dude. This dude, like, is the old thing where she, like, beats her past the train. Now, this is where I call bullcrap, right? Because last page, we just saw her, like, be quick enough to catch a bullet, but she's not fast enough to get on the other side of this train. So I'm like, man, come on now. A little bit of inconsistency on the speed. Maybe she's just unfocused. I don't know. But still, you got to fill in these pages. Overall, I did like it. She eventually does catch him, and it actually leads to kind of a bigger story. Now you got the introduction of a reporter who's, man, this guy is nosy as hell. I mean, reporters are supposed to be that, you know, he's supposed to be nosy as hell, but this guy's very, very insistent. And he's like, man, you know, the people deserve it, you know, like, oh man, nobody deserves it. And she's kind of standoffish as well. Like she doesn't want to talk to him at all. I feel like at first, if she would have kind of handled it like, yeah, kind of like, you know, amused him a little bit, I felt like maybe he would have been satisfied, but she was kind of like a wall. She's like, I'm not talking to you at all. As a matter of fact, I think she kind of assaulted him or something. I don't know. She might have picked him up or moved him around. After all that, she goes, takes a nap. I'm not sure where this is. Her secret hideout is between some trees or something. Guess she doesn't have a fortress of solitude, so these trees will do. And then we get this flashback of her actually like her origin story. Again, she's kind of has a similar origin as Supergirl, but I believe she was in space for much longer as well.
Yeah, she's older than Earth 1 Supergirl.
Yes, she is older, and I think she also had in her ship, she had like a computer that kind of educated her on like human history, human culture, and stuff like that. A lot of other stuff. I think she had a lot of education on the ship based on the computer, which I feel like is something Kara didn't have. I think when Kara jumped out, she was like Bambi, brand new to the world, you know, trying to figure out who she was. And so yeah, we get this. It's a very similar background story. A few things are different. Of course, the sneaky reporter sneaks up on her when she's taking a nap, knowing he shouldn't. And then we see her on that last panel. He's like, what? You know, because something, he just saw something that he should probably not see. He shouldn't be there. Then we move over back to rejoin Kara or Karen. And she's back out there. I think she's fighting like some robots and stuff, you know, standard comic book stuff, you know. And I really like this page right here where it's just like the full page right here. I that's an awesome
Yeah, that is good.
Like she's just beating up dudes left and right. There's like everybody shooting at her. There's cops around. It's just pandemonium going on. But you see on her face, it's just kind of like no emotion. She's kind of like determination. It's just kind of like, I got this. And I feel like that's one of the things I really like about this character is her confidence in herself. And to be able to, take on stuff, take a punch, and then also dish it out as well. And then, she's fighting more robots, and that's a lot of wordy. I think for me, it's a little bit more wordy than what I usually like, especially with action. When I like my action panels, I like the less words, the better. I think I just want to hear like a little pow or a little boom here or a little slap. But overall, I think it's good. She's a little sweaty. I didn't know Kryptonians could do that. Like I feel like this is wouldn't be like not even busting a sweat for her. But this is awesome. You're just seeing her power levels. She's just like crushing up swords or crushing up guns. She's like slapping people left and right. And like she said, she was just getting warmed up. So yeah, she hands him over to the police. Again, she's dealing with the media, dealing with the police. I like that. And then you got the reporter who shows up. But before we go to that, like there's that top panel right where the guy shows up. You scroll down on the next one. That first panel, she's got the classic Superman pose where she's like, fist on her waist or hands on her waist. I love that. I love these poses with these Kryptonians, where they just do those awesome superhero poses. And then you got the homeboy, the reporter. He shows up in that suit. So it's like a robot suit. It turns out that this suit is actually the ship that she showed up on, and it has an AI, and it kind of like consumed him, and he's not in control, but the suit is actually using him to try to get Kara back in there. I don't know. I think I might have just said too much because I feel like that was not revealed till the next. Overall, I like this issue. I think it's awesome for what it was intended to do. In the showcase title, it's you're showcasing. That's exactly what you're doing. You're showcasing a new hero, someone new. You're trying it out to see maybe they can get their own solo. You get some powers. You get strength, a little bit of an attitude. You get an origin story as well, and you get kind of a villain in there. Not so much. I don't know. I think that's one thing that they didn't present there was like a main nemesis, and I'm not sure if it's in this issue or whatever, but they also didn't show like a weakness, like if she had because I know she was like like she was literally weak to like wood or like raw materials. I'm like, what the hell? And but I believe that wasn't told in here, but maybe they decided that was kind of lame. But yeah, overall, I think it was good. I think it was a good issue, and I feel like it did everything it needed to do, including having a great cover.
Awesome. Well, I'll pick up on the second issue, which I think is another good, strong cover that essentially shows us right where we left off on the previous issue. And we open up with a full page splash that is pretty much identical to the cover, just from a slightly different perspective, perhaps 2 seconds later. Good image, though. You can see the look of shock on her face. When the symbiote ship strikes is this story. So we find PowerGirl as we move on to the next page. She's just been attacked by the ship, and the reporter that you were talking about, Andrew Vincent, is inside that. And PowerGirl goes to fight him, and he's like, no, don't do this, because if you destroy the ship, you're going to kill me. And in a moment of her being shocked of hearing that, the ship strikes at her. So the ship's kind of making pretty good work out of her, which makes sense because it comes from Krypton. It is the ship that she was sent to Earth in. And she does get an idea, though, of what she can do to buy her a little bit of time and get Andrew Vincent out of that ship. So she grabs a piece of metal there, and she starts to fly off, and she uses advice that she learned from Wildcat on the JSA. The trick is to pin the opponent to the ground. So she's got a few moments while the ship is pinned to the ground to remove the reporter, Andrew Vincent, from it. So he's kind of like, okay, you got to tell me what's going on. And, you know, she once again kind of doesn't have the time to deal with all of this. And she says, I owed you an apology and you got it. And that's pretty much all you're getting. And he's like, hold on. So when she goes to, this PowerGirl doesn't actually fly. She leaps tall buildings. When she goes to leap, he grabs a hold of her cape and he goes with her. And if you look at that panel right there, the look on her face and the look on his face is classic.
Not a good idea.
Yeah. So as they're going away, we see this police officer, and you know, he is going to the stolen property office. And as he starts to walk away, he's kind of like, I'll be moving right along now, fool. So we know something is up with that. And when he gets to the stolen property office, you know, he's trying to get in and they're like, no, we have everything under control in here. Thanks. And he's not having any of that because he reveals himself to be Brainwave. So first he goes from the disguise of the police officer into Brainwave, which isn't his actual disguise, and then he morphs into what he actually looked like, which is the smaller, bald character. So then we cut over to Supergirl and the reporter Vincent, and he's like, okay. She's like, how did you know? How did you come across this ship? What's going on? And he's like, I was here, and this thing just grabbed me and essentially, you know, sucked me in. And that's when Supergirl starts to get into more detail about her origin. How, you know, it wasn't just one ship that was sent from Krypton. There was two, and she was in the second one. But while she was in the ship essentially bonds with her, and it gives her a symbiotic relationship. And with her being a human passenger, it fills voids in her life. And it became everything that the ship had. So it was a plaything. It presented images of like virtual realities of her going to the zoo with her family, or even going to a prom. So she was led to think that all of this stuff was happening while she was traveling from the exploded Krypton until she eventually landed on Earth, where she would land as an adult. And she gets done revealing the story, and the tentacles come, claims PowerGirl, and sucks her into the ship. And Vincent's like, oh no, because he knows exactly what's going on. So as she gets into the ship, once again, it instantly is bonding with her. It's trying to create happy memories for her, like of her going to a prom or her finding love. And she knows, while part of her wants to accept that, the other part of her knows that this isn't reality. This isn't what's going on. And the ship keeps going. It starts projecting things that it's never shown her before, like her graduating, her getting a career, a job, and even goes on, as you see in that page, to her becoming a mother and having a family. And she's fighting this because she knows it's not right, but she wants to stay there. In a way, it's kind of like the Black Mercy. So we quickly cut over and we see Brainwave, and he says it's complete. He has plans to finally destroy the Justice Society, and he knows since PowerGirl can't be found at the moment, he knows that a good target would be the one who recently revealed his secret identity to everyone, Jay Garrick. So he checks in with Jay Garrick on Keystone City, and he sees this guy with him, and he deduces that that must be the Green Lantern, Alan Scott. So then we cut away and we cut back to PowerGirl, and she's finally strong enough to break free, both physically and mentally, from the ship. And she takes off, and where does she end up landing with Vincent but at the Superman Museum? And she's kind of like, oh no, of all the places here. And then she's like, the symbiote ship must be assaulting my mind more than one level, guiding me here. And the ship is right behind her, and ship wants to bond with her forever. And essentially she's like, no. And the reporter, Vincent, he gets a guy from the Superman Museum to get the holographic projector. And he wants him to start casting an illusion out there, which includes Superman's uncle, Zor-El. So the ship sees this and starts getting confused between what is real. Even the ship can't tell now what is real and what isn't. And it overloads the ship enough for PowerGirl to break herself free. And that's the end of our second issue.
All right. On to Showcase 99. This is the third and final PowerGirl issue of Showcase. And this will pick up where Lasso just left us. So we start off with Brainwave, and he is bent on getting his revenge against the JSA, basically. And again, he's still looking at Jay Garrick and making him pay with Keystone City. Meanwhile, they are PowerGirl and this reporter guy are off talking to this guy about the computers and things like that. Again, they're searching for Brainwave. And we learned that PowerGirl has these like implants where she's basically can be given like knowledge, I guess, right? That she wouldn't otherwise have, and specifically computers. And I believe this book came out in 1979 to give you an idea when they're talking about computers, what kind of computers they mean. So now she's got advanced computer knowledge, and so she's listening to this guy talk. And she's just kind of like, yeah, I've already got all this. I already know everything he's telling me. But of course, the reporter doesn't know that. Meanwhile, let's see. So that's just more of them talking. Oh, and then they get word that something has happened with Keystone City, and it has just completely vanished from their sensors. So she goes off into the alley, changes into her PowerGirl outfit here, and goes, as Lasso said, she doesn't fly, she leaps. She goes leaping into action, and sure enough, you can see here, Keystone City is just simply gone, okay? And the army is there. They're trying to figure it out. And there's this projection of Brainwave basically taking credit for it, saying that this is going to repeat itself with each of the major cities that the JSA inhabits. So like their home cities is what he's after, unless they all surrender to him for execution. And as it is, PowerGirl is the first one to show up, interrupting his little speech here, as you can see on this panel here. And so he says, you know what? Forget it. We'll just take care of PowerGirl right now. And so he unleashes his robot army. He starts like disintegrating the army men that are standing by, and she's dodging these lasers, and because she realizes that she doesn't know what's happening to these guys. They're just like, it zaps them and they disappear. Again, fighting these kind of like spider-like robots. They look like they're out of War of the Worlds or something. And again, she's a Kryptonian, so I mean, it's no big deal. She's taking them down, except again, this laser is still taking out these army guys. So finally, Brainwave, who by the way also has Alan Scott and Jay Garrick, both trapped. Of course, Alan Scott is trapped in a bubble made of wood. Because that apparently stops the Golden Age Green Lantern, and some kind of vibrating crystal stops the Flash from vibrating through. So that's how he's entrapped him. So they are out of the picture, and now he's basically saying, look, okay, PowerGirl, let's just settle this. Before I have to take any more innocent lives, you just surrender, and we'll put an end to all of this. So she does. And as you can see here, she gets zapped by that laser, and sure enough, she disintegrates. She disappears. And again, the army's just like, whoa, what did you do? You know, Brainwave's obviously very happy with himself. He's bragging to Green Lantern and Flash here. But as you can see, PowerGirl shows up. And she's in this bubble. So she wasn't really dead. She just was teleported, I guess. And she's in this bubble that's meant to enclose even a Kryptonian in. He thinks he's made it strong enough. But as we'll see here, she starts kicking away, and it is not. She easily breaks out of this bubble. ruining Brainwave's plans. He was not expecting that. Now she's loose. But he still has one more ace up his sleeve, and that is this other bubble that contains this monster thing that he unleashes to attack her. She thinks it looks more like an asparagus spear. And we get this splash page here of her fighting this giant asparagus.
Nice.
Okay, so we get a few action panels. You know, she's fighting it again. She's a Kryptonian, so you know where this is about to go. Again, fighting some of the henchmen at the same time. Ultimately, she gets a hold of Brainwave, puts an end to it all, forces him to release Green Lantern and Flash. And you can see Green Lantern then bubbles up Brainwave. They restore Keystone City and save the day. The end. So you know, not too much, nothing too clever in this story. It's a bunch of action, but again, I think as one of you already mentioned, this is really a way to introduce the world to a new character. We got a bit of an origin story. We got to see her fighting on par with some of these other already known characters, so we know how strong she is. And we got a little bit of a personality too. The one thing that I forgot to call out is there was a part in this story where she first encountered Flash and Green Lantern in the bubble, and she had the opportunity to go and free them before fighting the robots and stuff. And she actually made the conscious decision not to, and said, no, I think I'll just go it on my own. So she actually left them caged up while she risked it all to go fight them, and then in the end freed them. So I thought that was kind of funny. And what was even more funny is none of them mentioned it at the end. Like, I was like, really? Like, you're all cool with that? That's fine. So
this is
yes.
an interesting period with PowerGirl because Huntress hasn't been introduced by this time yet. Huntress comes pretty soon after. But when Huntress becomes introduced and those two essentially kind of become best friends, I think that adds another layer to it and rounds out the character much more. I thought this story wrapped up pretty fast. I mean, all of a sudden, they just went, oh, we're on the last page, wrap it up. But that happens sometimes in the Bronze Age. Interesting enough about this story, in this 3-issue arc, it's the first time that her name, Kara Zor-El, is ever released. Before that, no one called her anything other than PowerGirl, except for a couple times she was called Kid and Girly. Could you imagine calling PowerGirl Girly? Hey, Girly.
No, not a smart move. Not unless you're maybe another Kryptonian. Not a smart
I think
move.
that this story also introduces the Karen Starr secret identity, which she'd never had before then. So that's interesting. And PowerGirl's origin is identical to Superman's in the Adventures of Superman radio show. And in that, Superman left Krypton as a baby, but arrived on Earth as an adult. So that's exactly the same thing with PowerGirl.
Interesting.
So
now we have a comment from Ben Compton down in the comments.
Yes, I see that.
Which is interesting. It's something we kind of have to talk about when it comes to PowerGirl. So I'm sure you guys already know this, but I'll tell the story real quick here. So the story with PowerGirl and why she looks the way she does, right? And you guys know what I'm talking about. I guess the artist that originally created her felt at the time that he wasn't getting enough attention, enough love from the higher ups over at DC. And so I think it was over the course of the first 7 or 8 appearances of PowerGirl, he very purposefully decided he would see how long it took for them to pay attention to him. And with those first 7 or 8 issues, he progressively increased the size of her
breast friends.
Her
titties.
Yeah, thank you. And but yeah, it took him about 7 or 8 issues before they finally caught on and said, hey, what's going on with that? And that is how we get Power Girl. And if you go and you look, there is a difference. So
Yeah.
Can you imagine being like the editor? It's like, man, hold on, man. Cut it out, dude.
Right?
And
But the funny thing is, this is not the only little bit of controversy when it comes to Power Girl. There was also, speaking of editors, there's a very famous editor that took issue with Power Girl, and that was Stan Lee over at Marvel, who thought that it was really quite unfair, considering that when Marvel came out with Wonder Man, DC sued them for it, and Marvel agreed, okay, we'll stop using it, you know? And then Marvel had Power Man, of course, and shortly after, DC comes out with Power Girl. And so Stan was actually like, hey, Marvel, where's our lawyers? Like, we need to do something about this. I don't think they ever did, but he was on record saying he wasn't real happy about it.
Yeah. So obviously, I think people know that this is the Earth 2 equivalent of Supergirl. So there, Leo, there never was an Earth 2 Supergirl. Is that right?
I don't think. I think she was. I think
she was the Earth 2 Supergirl.
She was. So there. Okay. Yeah.
And somehow she ended up. I think she ended up on.
She got stranded.
I don't know. Dude, like her background's like so complicated. Like they redid it again. At one point, she was like the daughter of an Atlantean or whatever, and then she had like this ghost pregnancy. Bro, it was man, that was cool. It was like but yeah, I think I like this origin better, where she's just kind of like, you know, the Earth 2 Supergirl. And
I think Post Crisis really messed her up, and then it was New 52, I think, that brought her back.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think New 52 is so I was reading the Power Girl series. I thought that was really good because they really start exploring the Karen Starr side of Power Girl. Because she becomes like this very successful businesswoman, and she's pretty much the CEO of a company. She's running the company and everything, and you know, turns out she's very smart. You know, she's very techie, very intelligent businesswoman, and very headstrong. So I feel I get it sometimes with the big boobs and stuff. It takes away from the character because sometimes like that's like the whole character. It just turns into, you know, the titty stuff. But I think it kind of takes away. Like I don't mind it and stuff like that, but I feel like sometimes like when it's exaggerated, I think it takes away from the character sometimes and what the character really is. Because I think she's a fantastic character, and I wish they would bring her back. I don't know if you guys have seen her lately in like modern comics or anything, but last I heard, she was like in some kind of pocket dimension. I'm not sure. I haven't seen her in a comic in like forever, so I'm hoping to see her one day soon.
So in grading this 3-issue story arc on a 1 to 5, with 5 being the best, we'll start with you, Leo. What grade are you going to give it?
I'm gonna give it like a 3.5, just because of the old dialogue and the scripting. You know, I got to give it like a little bit of leeway because it's Bronze Age. But other than that, I love the art though. The art was great.
Yeah, art was good.
The character's great. The action's great. Yeah, so I think 3.5 is fair. I think.
Okay.
A little bit above average.
And Comic Fu, what about you?
I'm going to give it a 3.5 as well. I agree. You know, nothing too standout or great about it, but again, it was a decent character introduction. The art was good, as you mentioned, and it was an entertaining, quick read. You know, I mean, it served its purpose. It is what it is. You know, it was just a fun little story.
Yeah,
meant to introduce you to a character. So
yeah, I think I'll go with I'll agree with both of you and go 3.5 as well. Art was good. The story, the pacing of the story could have been a little bit better. And like I said, they wrapped up way too fast on that last issue. It just flew.
They did.
Flew through that. But overall, I mean, for the nostalgia purpose of it, it was fun. It gave us more information about this character that you didn't have when your only source of reading her was All-Star Comics. So yeah, I'll go 3.5. I enjoyed it. It was fun. So that brings us to the book show portion. And Leo, why don't you show us something that you have and tell us a little bit about your channel, what you've done on your channel, and what's coming up.
All right. So I'm just gonna stay with the PowerGirl theme, and we know PowerGirl has some great covers. There's the Adam Hughes stuff, the Alex Ross stuff, the Amanda Connor stuff, and everything. But I'm gonna show you guys one from World's Finest with the Huntress and the PowerGirl, and this is by Ryan Sook, and I love this cover.
That's
PowerGirl.
nice.
And it looks like Huntress just got knocked out, and PowerGirl, like you said, like you were saying, Lasso, they're like best friends and stuff. So
Yep,
that's one way to get her going. And anytime you see like a Kryptonian's eyes turn red and they start like gritting their teeth like that, oh,
Not
you
good.
know it's on. It's on. So yeah, I just wanted to show that. Also, I'm gonna cheat and show you guys another one.
go ahead.
I'm gonna show you guys Showcase 100, which comes after the PowerGirl stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And it has like I think every single character that came in the showcase. I believe. I think that's what it said. So I believe I don't know yet, but because I'm still kind of trying to research it. But I believe this is the second appearance of Dolphin, which is a character that I do collect as well. So I just wanted to show that. It's an awesome cover too. I'm not sure who did this, but it's just like everyone. Yeah, it looks great. This would be an awesome poster from back in the day. So
tell us a little bit about your channel too.
So yeah, my channel is just kind of going through a new phase of going where I'm trying to concentrate on trying to do a little bit more focused content. Right now, what I got going on is I have a Poison Ivy series where I'm kind of locked into the Poison Ivy series, and it's a little bit of both. If you guys are into cover collecting, if you guys are into trying to into variants as well, but also into reading the story. So we kind of cover all the bases because we're trying to find the perfect Poison Ivy cover. I feel like Poison Ivy is that character that doesn't have those outstanding she has great covers, but it's not like one where it's like, oh yeah, that's the cover. I think and that's what I'm trying to figure it out. I'm having a great time as a Poison Ivy fan and just kind of like looking at all the great artists that are being commissioned for all the covers for Poison Ivy. Like, this is fun. Like, for me, it's really fun trying to look ahead and trying to pick out which one's going to be the best cover as far as doing that. I'm also doing Aquaman Andromeda, which is like the new Ram V horror take on Aquaman. And I am absolutely loving that. Pretty much break it down. Every time the issue comes out, I'm definitely going to be breaking down and kind of going way into it. Unfortunately, it's bi-monthly, I think. So we won't see another one till August. But eventually, I want to start getting into a little bit more of the horror stuff. I got some pretty good ideas of some of the things I want to explore. I've been kind of exploring some of the older stuff, the EC stuff, the seduction of the innocent stuff. These are all like conversations I would like to have in the future. I'm also going to be having a live show. Hopefully I can get that up and running by the end of this weekend. Just kicking it and showcasing some cool villains, some cool horror stuff, some cool Black Label stuff and stuff like that. So, but yeah, you guys check me out on my channel. I think this week, the only thing I got coming up is a haul, which is going to be the biggest haul that I've had this year so far.
Awesome. So the link to Black Swamp Comics is in the description for this video as well as the rest of our panel as well. Comic Fu, tell us about your channel and a book show.
Sure. So for book show tonight, I'm carrying on the PowerGirl theme here, and I've got the first appearance here with All-Star Comics number 58.
Hey.
That's the
That's
first
awesome.
appearance of PowerGirl.
I love that she's on the front cover as well with her classic costume. Really changed.
Very iconic looking cover. So it makes for a great first appearance. And then I've also got number 59, which is her second appearance.
Yep.
Also right there on the cover.
Nice. She's getting handled.
Yeah, not bad.
Awesome.
As far as my channel, to be honest, I don't have too much going on right now. It's kind of for me, it's little in that lull of collecting right now. Just not too much is catching my interest. I got a few other things going on at the moment. So, eventually I will get back to my LCS and pick up a haul, and then I will be sharing it with all of you.
Awesome.
So, actually, what am I saying? Tuesday, we are kicking off a new season of Building a Mystery. with Doghouse Comics. So definitely check that out over on my channel. He's going to be building mystery boxes, completely transparent with everyone there in the chat. So I do have that going on my channel.
Awesome. Those are always a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you showing the first appearance of PowerGirl, because that was going to be my book show. And since my camera decided not to cooperate tonight, we still got that covered anyway. So as for my channel, on Tuesday, I dropped a comic book editions video that shows some half-price books haul and some other recent editions. This upcoming Tuesday, I'll drop another video that will update everyone on my top 12 goal list for 2022. So since we're halfway through the year, I thought it'd be nice to do a little update on that. Tuesday night, I will be the special guest on Omni X-Men as we talk about Phoenix, the Untold Story. So I'm excited to do that with John's Comics with Kids and Justin, No Good Comics. I'll have a back issue of the week dropping tomorrow, and some more fun stuff as well. So that's what's on deck for my channel. So I thank you guys for spending some time with us. Everyone here in the chat and those watching on the rewind, happy Father's Day to everyone as well. Anything else from you guys before we wrap up?
I'm good.
That's it.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you again for joining us for the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, Fanboys